Have you heard the news about a coffee shop? Church 2911 is going to be opening a coffee shop right here at our location in Morris. So let me talk to you a little bit about the why of a coffee shop, okay? Scripture, Matthew chapter 5. This is Jesus talking in the middle of a big long sermon that he preached. He says, "You're the salt of the earth, but the salt loses its saltiness. How can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You're the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." So, you've got a salt shaker at your house, right? And the reason for the salt is to season your food, right? It enhances the flavor. But there's not a lot of seasoning going on while the salt is still in the shaker. Same thing with a flashlight. You have a flashlight, candles, they're not doing you any good laying in a drawer somewhere or maybe hidden under your bed. You got to get them out from under that. So in the same thing, this is the same thing that Jesus was saying. So for us to be making a difference in the world, to being the light, to being the salt that seasons life around us and people's lives and enriches them, we've got to get out of the shaker. We've got to get out of the cabinet. We've got to get out from under the bowl, as Jesus was saying. And I think that's what happens to a lot of us. Our church buildings are often like shakers of salt. I mean, we're full of salt. We're full of seasoning potential, but we got to get it out of there. Just like the light, the power of the light that can change the darkness around us, but it's got to get out of our buildings. And that's one of the big reasons for a coffee shop. Here's a quote from Carey Nieuwhof. "The biggest mistake most leaders will make in this emotional rush to get back into a facility, to see everyone again, to assemble their teams, and to get back to normal, is they'll re-embrace a model of ministry designed to reach a world that no longer exists." You realize that the world you and I live in is different than it was 8 months ago. And so what's the reason for a coffee shop? To reach people who live in this new normal. And to go back to just doing church the way we did it 8 months ago is not understanding and embracing the fact that there's a new normal and people are living in a new normal. Let me ask you a couple of questions here. How long has it been since you invited someone to go to a church service and they actually showed up? How long has that been? Well, you know what? It's not going to get better for a while. People have the reason or excuse to not go to a church right now, especially with a bunch of strangers that they don't know that may have the coronavirus, right? But let me ask that question a little differently. How long has it been since you invited someone to a church service, whether they came or not? But let me ask you this question. How long has it been since you asked someone to meet you for coffee? How long has it been since you invited someone out to dinner? How long has it been since you moms invited another mom to meet you and your kids at the park so your kids could all play together? Mark Batterson, whose church has an awesome coffee shop that Dave and I actually visited when we were in Washington, D.C. People asked him about why a coffee shop, and he said, Jesus didn't just hang out in the synagogue, he hung out at wells. Wells were natural gathering places in ancient culture, and coffee houses are modern wells. Jesus hung out at wells. There's a scripture, John chapter 4, the story of the Samaritan woman at the well where Jesus met her. And in this story, Jesus goes to her and he shares with her words of life that will enrich her. He calls himself the water of life, that if she drinks of this, she'll never thirst again. And before he gets there, he tells his disciples, as they're on a journey, he says, I've got to go through Samaria. Now, he didn't have to go through Samaria to get water. There was water in a lot of places. He needed to go there out of his way to be able to minister to her. And you and I, we've had God go out of his way many, many times. It's time for us to go out of our way for someone else. Not just do what's easy, not just do what's convenient, but to go out of our way. We're not just talking about visiting a coffee shop. We're talking about digging a well. Making a coffee shop, right? You see, I think here's what a lot of people are doing is they're longing for the days of the bubble. Like we live our lives, we work our 40 hours, we go to school our 7 hours on a day, and then we come home and we do the things we have to do, study, take out the trash, whatever it is we need to do, crash in front of the TV, or maybe go out to eat with friends and family and do something fun on occasion. But we live in this bubble as if, man, if we get all these things done, everything is right with the world. That once we work out our problem, all is right with the world and we don't have to think about anything else. But all is not right with the world. Those are the reasons for a coffee shop, because all is not right with everyone else's life. Other people are struggling. Other people are dealing with issues that you and I don't even know about. And sometimes the best opportunities to actually pour in, to actually minister, to actually help, to actually enrich someone's life, like salt out of a shaker or light out from under that bowl, is in those times where it's just a basic one-on-one conversation about things that we never dreamed would ever end up being spiritual. That's why a coffee shop. Our goal for this building is to find as many ways as possible to reach as many people as possible to introduce them to Jesus Christ.